So you're by now, probably all of you are familiar with this Peanut the squirrel story. So basically, this man and this husband and wife couple, they rescued a squirrel. I guess they saw the mother squirrel get hit by a car. They adopted this baby squirrel when it was weeks old. They've had this squirrel for 7 years. I didn't even know squirrels could live that long. They had fully trained and domesticated, potty trained the squirrel, I'm sure. In addition to this other like baby raccoon, I guess somebody narked on them, and I don't remember exactly the position of the person who came through, but they basically confiscated these animals, and while they were in the process of doing that, the squirrel bit the person who was trying to
allegedly
take them away.
I would have too.
Yeah,
and in order
they
to
sent
they had to put them down.
They sent 10 conservation officers to retrieve a squirrel and a raccoon. Like,
that is a waste of our tax dollars.
4 judges.
Apparently, they took apart his toilet to look for like more animals and shit.
They just stashing them like Anne Frank.
That tells you how qualified they are at their jobs. That means that they've literally watched Ace Ventura: Pet Detective because he kept animals in his toilets. Where else did they get that idea from?
So Squirrelgate is proof that if the Ninja Turtles were real, New York would have euthanized them long ago. That's why crime is out of control. New York was like, no, we can't have Ninja Turtles fighting crime with their rat daddy.
I mean,
we just can't.
True.
As an outsider, what I really don't get is the fact that there's like literally you hear about ladies getting raped and a lot of murder happening over there. I mean, do they have any priorities like at all?
Yeah, no,
that's the thing we should be focusing on. It's very sad about the damn squirrel, but Eugene has been talking about the fucking squirrel for 3 days straight. I'm wondering, is this what's going to decide the election? A squirrel?
Yes, absolutely.
And that's fine, and that's America for you.
They sent 10 officers. There were 4 judges that signed off on this warrant. There were 7 lawyers involved, and there was a slew of other stuff. This one, and then when they showed up, they were interrogating and intimidating the wife and her immigration status, and were like, if you get in our way, like, you can
the German woman, because she's German. What are you doing?
Love immigrants, by the way.
It is freaking wild. And then the squirrel, who rightfully so was absolutely terrified, attempted to defend itself and bit one of the office. I can't even call them. Bit one of.
Look, I still don't believe it, Lady Gravemaster. I say allegedly bit because that poor little squirrel was a pet and it was friendly.
They don't have body cam footage, but a terrified animal was going to
I hope they release the body cam footage.
Yes, release the body cam footage. But because of that, they said that in the interest of the animal, because they might have rabies, because a terrified squirrel bit a stranger, because they both might have rabies, they euthanized Fred and Peanut.
Here's something no one got. What about the raccoon?
Yeah, he died too.
They thought he had rabies too, I guess.
They said, they were like, if the squirrel bit, the squirrel might have rabies, and if the squirrel might have rabies, the raccoon might have rabies. So to be better safe than sorry, we're just going to euthanize them both for their own good. These people literally think that you as humans, or us as humans and animals, are better off dead than in any capacity that they don't agree with. This is like, I don't know how many of you have siblings, but this is like the one sibling who's the uber control freak and is like, you're not playing it right. Go away. This isn't how we play. So you just have to leave. But it's like amped up to 11.
I love how fired up you are about this. And did I hear correctly that they actually cut the squirrel's head off like an archaic?
No!
Yes.
An old archaic kind of way of testing.
Oh my God, no.
Yes.
They decapitated
Emily,
no. To test for rabies. Same thing.
They have to.
Same thing with the raccoon. To test
for rabies.
Like a guillotine.
You can't test for rabies like anally or any other way.
Why are you laughing at Peanut's poor little head cut off? And it was probably rolling.
Do you
down
understand how
that's horrible?
Like, okay, so So to break
No justice, no squeak, no justice.
this is
You know what? We're more. You know what? OJ also beheaded a lady. How about she was a human? No one seemed to care. We're talking about this
Wait,
squirrel.
OJ
black, it
beheaded
doesn't
her? I
count.
thought he
Oh my
just
God.
stabbed her.
Oh, he beheaded her.
He
Just-
beheaded her.
What? God
I'm
damn,
teasing.
why am I
I
finding out
just-
this?
Squirrel.
So what you're
Justice
saying is
squirrel. I
OJ
hate
killed Peanut.
Oh.
Yes, there would have been more
What?
justice.
Yeah,
There
and
would've
then
been
How did I not remember this?
on
This
Goldman.
You have to
No
remove
one
the
cared.
brain to test for rabies.
Yeah.
Why don't we have why can't you just spit on a test or something like that?
because
Why
rabies
is there
doesn't
no
show
swab?
up in rabies doesn't show up in the saliva until after so the mouth foaming and stuff that you think of when you think of rabies, that is like a week after infection has already occurred.
Do you do that with people too? You cut
But
their head off?
can't humans survive rabies?
ISIS
Like I
does.
saw the Seinfeld where Elaine got
Yes.
rabies. She was
So-
fine the
Did
next
they cut
episode.
her head off?
Well, it's a TV show.
I never watched it. Did they cut her head off in the next episode?
No.
You know.
They just sewed it back on. They went very Frankenstein monsters with it.
What
That's
TV show?
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
Oh,
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
There was an episode where Elaine had rabies.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think they should
the
cut her head
dog
off.
episode. I remember that.
From Athenite, the state knew the animal
Mhm.
doesn't have rabies, considering it lived right. It was housebroken. It lived at home for 7 years. It would have presented symptoms long ago. So
Yep.
either it's living with AIDS or it's living with rabies, like it's fine, like
No.
Michael Johnson.
That's just what
Uh,
they used. The
Magic
bite.
Johnson.
The
Michael
bite.
Johnson?
I thought you were gonna say
Michael
like me.
Johnson, Magic
Michael
Johnson.
Magic Johnson.
I like, does he go by
Sorry.
Michael? I was using his formal name.
Chrissy doesn't watch basketball.
Clearly.
What is even crazier is the lady that reported that like turned them in or whatever you want to say because of a piece of paper. They were like because they didn't have the license to have a squirrel and a raccoon. This lady in Texas turned them in and then started bragging about it on Facebook.
Okay,
And
a
then-
couple of things though. A
There's
couple
always
things
a
on that.
fucking Karen.
One, apparently they were waiting on the permits. And that's the other part of the equation that's extremely funny and terrible. Because government bureaucracy, they make you wait for these fucking permits. And while you're getting the permits, they come and kill your fucking squirrel because you don't have the fucking
Well,
permit.
this is no
That's-
this is just like the lady. I think she was raising, I can't remember if it was like llamas or alpacas or something, but because she did not have an exotic animal license, so she rescued them from being abused. And she was going through the process of all of the paperwork, and they showed up and they euthanized her animals right there on her own farm because she didn't have the paperwork.
It's fucking crazy.
Ugh.
Okay, and then the other thing about this lady from Texas, I've seen this situation with the lady, and I saw that several accounts were like, "Let's make her famous," but nobody was posting the screenshot that she allegedly took, responsibility for this situation. So I'm like, are we like, are people just doing like mob justice? Like, what if she has nothing to
Yes.
do with it, and it's like. She's just
yeah.
all of a sudden a target, and then she deletes her social media. So everyone's like, "See, she did it," and I'm like, "Well, maybe because thousands of people were like wishing death on her. What if
Yeah,
she didn't
maybe
have
she's
anything to do
Getting
with it?"
canceled.
Okay, really quick, you guys. If you have your laptops in front of you, go to the New York Post right now because just a couple hours ago, they have an exclusive report titled
Oh, I have
"Who
it.
Ratted Out Peanut the Squirrel?"
Emily, you're
And-
reading my mind.
Yeah, the
I
owners
was just
actually
about to
came
bring this up.
forward. Yeah,
Pull it
they talked about
I was
this.
just-
So a really interesting detail that we haven't talked about yet. Did you guys know they were using this squirrel and like all power to them to promote their OnlyFans? This couple has
Yeah,
an
that's
Guy?
a little bit.
What?
It
No,
took
I
a
didn't know
whole
that.
new-
Yes.
Yeah, it took
There
a
is
whole
a
new spin.
wrinkle. There's a wrinkle in this story, and that is that this guy, I think, is on OnlyFans,
Oh, I
and
wanna
I don't know
see
the
his
extent of
OnlyFans.
his content, but I can tell by how he dresses and what his body looks like. I was like, oh, I bet this guy is in the industry.
My
I
He's
don't think they
interested
allow
now.
squirrels on OnlyFans, so I thank God that I don't think that was a part
I
of
don't think anyone's paying
Oh,
to
no,
watch
it might have been-
squirrels on OnlyFans.
No, I
No,
doubt
it might have been a
I don't
Richard
think-
Gere
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of thing.
I hope the squirrel is not in the OnlyFans content. I have a feeling he's not. I feel like that's a
not
side
allowed.
business.
Yeah.
No.
So who ratted out Peanut the squirrel? Grieving owners have their theory, and it's a rich one. Let's see. Let's go to this inside scoop because I am in contact with this man. I would love to go to this farm, but if I can't make it, I'll at least get an interview with him.
I swear, and he's like a fan of. He was a fan of Compound. Like he knew In Hot Water.
He's friends with Matt Mead. They're like mutual friends. Yeah.
Not somebody that's going to come in here and barge your place and ruin your life, but you ruined mine, and I want to know why. And I wanted to talk to you because it's going to start coming out. I have an OnlyFans page. So this was something, not that it's relevant to this. It's not like I promoted on Peanut's page. It was a way for me to make the money I had to make to buy this.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, some provocative photos, this and that. People enjoy me a little bit more on a different side of social media. It is what it is. It was an ample opportunity. Was it ample? Much better than we anticipated. And it bought this property. It bought the beginning of this place. And, as soon as this place was self-sufficient, I was out. This is not about us wanting money. We want this place to live on in Peanut's memory. And we want to change what's going on in the government. We want to pass this law to help animals. The money that we will get, and if we win, the money will go to this sanctuary. We will stay here. It is
so sweet. I'm an animal lover. It's a horrifying, horrific thing that happened. It's just difficult for me not to laugh when we're talking about a squirrel and then the OnlyFans thing. It which is perfbly fine. I just don't know how they all connect.
So the owners think it was over jealousy. Mark and Daniela Longo told the Post on Sunday they had been cashing in on their furry internet sensation who helped steer followers to their raunchy OnlyFans page before he was seized from the animal sanctuary and euthanized by state environmental officials over rabies fears last week. The couple's financial success, fueled at least partly by Peanut, may have been enough to drive someone to drop the dime on them and their fluffy-tailed cash cow, they said. Maybe it's someone who thinks I use this place to make a lot of money, said of his rescue farm. Did this do wonders to my OnlyFans? Mark said of the site where Peanut frolicked along with other animals. Absolutely, it's making a lot of money from this. The Longo said they bought their 350-acre spread near Elmira with the $800,000 they made in 1 month from posting there. If anyone's still wondering why people do OnlyFans instead of, work at a desk job, it's because of this. They made $800,000 in 1 month. And Peanut then began pulling his own weight with his separate family-friendly fan base. And there he is. He's a chunky. He was a chunky boy.
R.I.P.
Greatest threat in New York that required 10 agents to recover.
That's wild. I had my own kind of squirrel dad account, my own Instagram, Mark Longo said, and it's me doing my workouts. And a lot of times, I don't have time to make dual content like I used to. I just tag my squirrel dad account from the Peanut video I post so it gets double the clip views every once in a while. A shirtless photo. But I completely separated myself from this entire thing. Obviously, people were going to find both and try to associate them. The Longos made headlines after the State Department of Environmental Conservation raided their upstate spread, Peanut's Freedom Farm, and grabbed their lovable furry pet and his pal, a raccoon named Fred, with both critters euthanized over rabies concern because they were in close contact with humans. Duh. I mean, this is ridiculous. Seen by many as victims of an overreaching state government, the couple have become local heroes. Mark Longo thinks it was jealousy that led someone to call the DEC on Peanut, who was a cash cow for them, and the raccoon drinking the latte. This morning at the supermarket, I wanted to get a few extra copies of the Post to keep for myself. Longo said, referring to Sunday's paper with the front page headline, "Bushy whacked." When I walked in, people recognized my face because I was on the cover of the newspaper, and they just kind of smiled and nodded. Last night, my wife and I went out to dinner. We were having dinner, and the couple next to us looked over and said, "We're so sorry for what happened, and we want you to know that you have our full support." Everybody was just noticing, and then they would tell us that, they were sorry about what happened with Peanut. The squirrel's death sparked so much outrage that it prompted a state lawmaker to propose legislation to improve animal rights statutes, calling the bill Peanut's Law, Humane Animal Protection Act. What happened to Peanut was a tragedy. Does it bother anyone else that it's P'_nut? Why can't it just be spelled peanut?
I didn't know that.
Because they do have an OnlyFans, like Nut, I think.
Oh,
maybe.
Oh God.
State Assemblyman Jake Blumenkrantz said on X, as a state lawmaker and an animal rights advocate, this tragedy can be an agent of change. And this
Wait,
is a
so
video
these
where
guys made 800K.
Sorry, by the way, does my mic
for the
sound better
month?
now? Sorry.
what?
Does my mic sound better now, by the way?
The chat will tell you.
chat
I
was
thought
not- it
you sounded
sounded
fine the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the chat was saying that there was crackling.
You know what would be better than more legislation to have to try and protect animals that didn't hurt anybody and nobody was doing anything wrong? No legislation, and the government just, gets the hell, it like backs the hell off. Like,
God.
why the fuck do you need to make a law for your own agents and goons to not go into other people's houses to kill their animals? Like, this is wild to me. Like, it isn't so much, and I know Keanu, like, you're absolutely, this is going to decide the election because this is the most
The
pure
only reason I laugh is because of that.
I know. Like,
if there weren't this is mortifying and terrifying and awful that this poor squirrel was beheaded along with a raccoon no one's talking about. That is awful. I'm the biggest cannibal lover ever. It is definitely government overreach. I just can't believe we live in a world now that this is going to sort of
because people care about
life.
animals. Animals are innocent creatures.
well, and it's not just that. Like, you can't, and you guys, we pointed out how clean that Canadian street was. You can't get trash off of the street. You can't get feces off of the street. You can't direct your traffic correctly. You can't help people whose houses are falling down around them because it takes 7 to 15 months to get an approval permit, to get a second permit to improve your property in New York City. Like, it is wild the amount of red tape and government overreach that is happening, but we're humans, so we can adapt and overcome and figure this shit out.
We're humans and like idiots. We needed like an adorable and horrifying story to make us understand.
That's the thing. I think this isn't as superficial as it seems. Like, if it wakes a lot of people up to what's going on, because this is like an allegory for what government is doing to all of us. You do not hate the government enough.
But the shocking part, Mikey, is that the left is still making excuses like, well, they didn't have a permit. Well, they should have followed the laws.
Yeah,
Well,
the left for a bunch of fucking Karens, and this bitch is the ultimate Karen, so they find her relatable.
Exactly. But these people would have been the brown shirts in 1925 Germany. That's all I'm saying. Because and they proved that 5 years ago when the coup hit. Like, these are the same exact people. It is not about a solution. It is not about helping people. It is not about morality. It is about control and power. They're hungry for it, and they want it any way they can. That's why they need legislation to tell their own people to not go murder innocent animals and to stay out of people's houses. Like, do you understand how much money
facts today?
I hate it. I hate this so much because do you know what it takes to get a judge to sign off on a warrant? 4 judges. 4 judges on these warrants. 4. Do you understand that is approximately $6 million in taxpayer funds right there? I shit thee not. I shit thee not.
That could buy a lot of squirrels.
That could buy a lot of squirrels.
Like battering ram down the door.
Can't bring him back
with a big acorn.
It's just it is fucking wild to me. And then you send these agents of the state, 10 agents. They are, I guarantee you, they're getting hazard pay. They're getting
hazard
pay.
So
when you get called to answer a warrant, you are anticipating walking into some type of conflict, and your hazard pay, there's a range,
like
so it'll reflect. It will reflect the situation you're walking into, per se.
It's hilarious because the hazard was just a tiny little baby squirrel with a cowboy hat on.
I guarantee you the agent that got bit is probably going to be able to retire for life and live off of probably, let's see, if they go all in like they know they can, mental distress, emotional distress, physical distress,
rabies,
inability.
I still
fear
have
of
doubts
rabies, fear
that
of
there
life.
was a bite involved.
All of this
They
stuff.
should just start an OnlyFans and make $800,000. That would be the plan if it were me.
No, now they get to sit on their ass and do nothing and probably collect anywhere between $500,000 to $750,000 a year.
Wow.
I
unless
hope
this
you know
family
that.
sues, unless
Let me
they
play-
sue and win. I mean,
Allow me
that's
to play
also-
devil's advocate. Okay. If it were a liberal squirrel, if it were Kamala, like I am Kamala and I have a squirrel and it is not registered, and then they went in and beheaded her squirrel, would we be this outraged, or would we be like,
I would.
Like, you don't do this to people. You don't
you don't do anything to animals. That's where I get.
What kind of fucking world do we live in?
This is looking at that adorable little face breaks my heart. I just can't believe that we're in a country where this is gonna decide our election. Yeah, I mean,
I hope it does, though. If this is what it takes to wake people up to what's happening.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you have all of these people that live in like upstate New York and who are so detached from from Buffalo and New York City are not like the rest of New York State. So you have all of these people that live in
New York is pretty red.
Yeah. So you have all these people that live in upstate New York and they're like, leave me the fuck alone. Get off my lawn. But
I grew up in South Carolina. I definitely understand state, my government, stay at, just let me do whatever I want.
Exactly. Most humans,
a lot of rural.
My neighbor Holly had a squirrel. Nobody beheaded it. No one
because people have a conscience and they're sane. But like when you think about like where we are and the fact that most of New York is red, but the cities are blue because the government is promising these people that they're going to take care of everything for them. What most normal people want is they want government to function in the background of their lives and stay the fuck away from them. That is what your job is to make sure we don't get invaded, we don't go to war. If we do go to war, God forbid, we win, and make sure.
Is it me or did we lose?
FYI.
Oh no.
Really quick though, like with the utmost respect, I just want to clarify. So we think that Peanut the Squirrel is going to determine this election because there's a possibility that this story could turn New York red. Is that the argument that we're making?
I'm mostly team. I just love
I
that this
don't know.
is days before the election. We can't stop staring at this squirrel.
I can tell you this. This is the news right now. There's still a couple days to the election. I mean, some other like Democrat animal could be murdered, and then the tables could
and they'll be like, "Okay, we don't even like that."
But how did this
couple days left? I mean,
no
you don't know.
Does nobody else find it absolutely wild that it was automatically assumed that this squirrel, but like they were literally calling it a MAGA rat squirrel? Like, what the it's a squirrel. It doesn't have a political affiliation, and it's
if the squirrel didn't have a TikTok, would
you make a MAGA hat for Peanut?
I think because right wingers like claimed him. I think like we kind of jumped on.
He's excited.
Caring about the story.
I think the reason for that is that most people who are very concerned about the migrant issue and more serious issues that are going on in New York were voicing their concerns because they're like, what the hell? Like there's all these things going on and you guys are going after a fucking pet squirrel.
Exactly.
Like we have bigger problems. And these bigger problems are not being addressed by the government. And that is what people are really pissed off about. Now, I also think, to your point, Lady G, a lot of people were kind of shocked about why this has happened. Now, he kind of, the owner in this article says that he thinks it was jealousy that was involved. And I mean, jealousy and envy can make people do insane things.
Wait, from the cops or from the Karen?
From the Karen. Like the Karen
That's
was
what
jealous.
I missed a chapter here. Who is this bitch? Who is the Karen?
That's what
we don't really know. That's the
out.
question. It's like some people are saying it's this lady from Texas. Now, I don't know if I believe it because the people who are saying that this lady from Texas were also not providing any screenshots about what she said or what the hell is going on. So there's a theory that it's this white lady from Texas. Now, here's the thing, though. What I think is really interesting, and to your point, Lady G, is that we've been witnessing the basically authoritarian mindset creep into the minds of the people for a long time, even before COVID, but especially during COVID, because those were the people that were encouraged by people like Mark Cuban and all these lefty fuckers to tattletale on people who weren't wearing masks, who weren't vaccinated, who weren't whatever, to get their livelihoods taken away, to get their children taken away, to basically ruin their fucking lives. So they were being encouraged to participate in fascistic movements that are part of a blueprint that are being used by both communists and the fascist Nazi regime that was during World War II. It's been happening for a long fucking time. And the fact that it's happening, like it was happening during COVID, now it's catching on to people are like, wow, are we still doing this kind of thing? Well, yes, because that mindset has seeped in. It takes control of you and you have no idea why you do it. But the reason you do it is because you think that you're going to get approval points from the government. Daddy government is going to give you approval points, and therefore these people are fucking brainwashed.
Yeah, well, it's broken down to its most base level. It's bully survival instinct. You don't agree with the bullying, but you go along with the bully so that you don't get bullied. And so that's its base mindset. So when you amplify that up to like a government level, it's if I do what they say, if I do what, like if I fit into their square, if I fit into their box, if I do what they say, if I point at the other person, and if I make them the object of, hatred or of anger, what the linchpin, then I will be safe because I am on the other side of it. And what they fail to realize is that when you stay inside that box, eventually people are going to back up behind that box and they're going to start pointing at your box. So then you either have to continue to back up with them into more extremism, or you stay there and you become the next victim.
Well, it's like that famous quote, right? Like, when they came for the squirrels, I didn't say nothing, and then when they came for me, there was no one left to speak for me. And that's what's going on here and now. Like with the COVID thing, they had to walk it back because people were starting to wake up.
Nina, I don't think so. Nina, there was no one left to squeak for me.
But it's like the wild thing too is now you have people saying, well, we need to forgive each other for what happened during COVID.
Ass.
And I'm like, no, I refuse to do that because I was standing. So I worked at a university during that time, and I was fully prepared to lose my job because I was not going to go get the coof shot. And I was standing over by the water dispenser and I'll never fucking forget. It felt like we went back to pre-K where it's put a bubble in your mouth, stay in your little square, arms out, make sure you're not touching anybody, wash your hands with soap. Oh yeah, have you never heard that? You take a big breath. So you bend down. And I can find a bitch who says it ridiculously. So you get down on the level of the pre-K-er, right? So you have to squat or bend down, and then you're supposed to go, all right, let's
is this like a Catholic school or something?
No. As a Catholic, no, we don't do that at Catholic school. This is public school. Yeah. No, this is public school. They'll be like, put a bubble in your mouth. And so the kids, they catch air and then they puff their cheeks out to look like a squirrel, ironically enough. And then so it's called a bubble in your mouth because then you're focusing on holding your breath and puffing your cheeks out so you don't talk.
That's diabolical.
Yeah.
Is that some bitty fucking school or like who's doing this?
Give me 1 second. I'm going to find you the creepiest. I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. Hang on.
Yikes.
These videos are making me so fucking upset. Like these are pets and they're fucking murdered. Justice for Fred. Justice for Peanut. This is bullshit.
Oh my god, this squirrel liked to eat waffles and things.
I honestly understand John Wick. Like, I don't know how this guy's functioning. I would be fucking livid. I would be fucking going John Wick on these motherfuckers' asses right now. This is how the bulldozer is made, people. Have you guys heard about the bulldozer? Have you guys heard about that motherfucker who took that bulldozer and he made that fucking thing and he fucking went and bulldozed those buildings? This is how that should happen.
Wait, what? I need context.
You never heard the killdozer? That's right, the killdozer. This is how this shit is made. Mikey, Google the killdozer. This is how the killdozer.
Apparently, everyone knows it but me.
Is gonna fucking be created. Like, I mean, because the government fucks with you. That's why. Chrissy, have you ever heard of the killdozer?
Mayor.
No.
Chrissy,
here's Robert Malone saying, based on the search results, it is extremely rare for squirrels to contract rabies. The data suggests that squirrels are not considered vectors of rabies and have never been known to transmit the disease to humans. Well, don't tell Fauci that. I'm sure he'll fix that right up. Yeah, Peanut lived in a house, not in the wild.
He knows the killdozer, Nina. He just said, "What is it, Eugene?" That's all he said. That was it.
The killdozer is an incident of a normal man gone mad because he had to deal with government bullshit and bureaucracy, and so he made a killdozer where he literally fucking bulldozed over buildings in his city because he was pissed off. He went insane.
That was eminent domain, which is
kind
also
of on his
illegal as
side,
well.
though, right?
Here it is. I'm gonna pull up the video so you guys can see it.
There you go.
Once I've got the bubble in your mouth thing.
Are we on his side though?
Yes, we're on his side.
We're absolutely on his side.
I was kind of thinking that, but I'm like, I don't want to be the only one.
Hold on, I don't want to get too off the subject of Peanut just yet before we get through everyone's comments. Okay, so we don't know if it's Monica Kiesler was the snitch, but where did they get her name from?
Well, people are saying that she allegedly admitted on Facebook that she did this, and that somebody on Reddit found this Facebook and then made a Reddit post. This is what people were saying, that this is how she was discovered. And I'm like, and yet nobody has posted the link of a screenshot to what was alleged or like how she took responsibility for calling this in and gloated about it, whatever. Again, everybody's saying she admitted it. How? I didn't see a single screenshot at all. Like, and then later on, people were like, "Oh, here's the screenshot," but it looked clearly edited. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people that hate people online, and then they'll do shit like this to be like, "Oh, this is how I'm gonna get you back, you fucking bitch." You're like, I don't know. Maybe it's just somebody's cousin they don't like or something.
She could be one of these Looney Tunes, like these bitches who confess to crimes. They're like, I assassinated Abraham Lincoln.
Exactly, Mikey. Some people are fucking weird like that. So, and then people are saying, oh, she's off social media. But yeah, of course, you'd be off social media if you became a target of millions of people who are disgruntled over the squirrel's death.
We're not disgruntled, bloodthirsty. Get her.
They want to go John Wick on your ass. I don't know. It's like,
she's on 9gag. I mean, isn't that a site similar to 9gag?
Look, I'll tell you this. When Trump, the first assassination attempt on him happened, the very first thing that happened was a bunch of people started being like, oh, it was this fucking dude that did it. And it turned out that dude was some Italian fucking football announcer that lived in Italy. Okay. It was a weird situation. And when news breaks out about this kind of stuff and social media goes crazy, you kind of got to take a step back. Like, you can't take everything that comes right away out as fact because people make up shit all the time. So that's why I was waiting for someone to verify this story, and I still haven't seen it. I mean, no news sources verified
it.
Right?
Some lady did interview. I'll try and find it. She interviewed Monica Kiesler and was like, it was here. Let me see if I can find it. But it was something to the effect of she's terrified for obvious reasons, and that's why she's off the internet, not because not because she actually did it. It's because
okay,
you know,
this is
she's
a bad
scared.
website. Don't
Let me see.
look at this. Bad article. Bad article.
Again, I don't know. I mean, does it really even matter at this point? Because whoever is this faceless person that, like, you know, soulless, faceless person that fucking told, it doesn't really fucking matter who it is. The point is that people do that kind of shit. And it could be your fucking neighbor. It could be the person living right next door to you that's going to like tell on your ass.
The fucking scamdemic turned everyone into the goddamn hall monitor. You
absolutely
Tim Waltz setting up hotlines for people to report their neighbors. So I think, you know, whoever the Karen is, we hate her obviously, but I feel like the point should really stay on the government and what they've done.
Yeah, exactly.
As much as we hate her and want to like nail her to the cross.
Well, but here's the problem. Here's the problem. Whoever that is, who like whether it's the Monica chick or if it's somebody else, the problem is that they'll do it again. They probably got a rush from seeing what happened, and they were like, "Look at the power I have." It's the fucking Salem witch trials all over again.
But
that is exactly
Lady
what
Gravemaster.
it is.
Again, it's gonna happen either way. That's what I'm telling you. That mindset is set in. So even if you go lynch this bitch, someone else is still gonna do it because that mindset is still there. People are still brainwashed to be the bitch of the government, to be government lackeys, to have the nanny state approve it for them. Like that, it's just the way it fucking is. Like, so it doesn't really matter if you go lynch this bitch or not.
And
I'm just saying there was a lot less. There was a lot less animal deaths and a lot less crime when public hangings were still a thing.
Yeah, or like fucking duels and shit. I mean, you know, bring back dueling.
Duels? No, that's like especially
in the fucking Senate. Bring back the duels.
Instead of paying attention to the government overreach, people are like, look at this lady, look at this Karen, hate her, not us, her. See?
Exactly, Keanu.
Please make this happen. Please make this happen.
He just has to show up to a rally event with like a banner of Peanut and Fred, and that's it. Like that's all he's got to do.
There's a
garbage collector vest.
Halloween in 2014, and I'm so fucking pissed I lost that fucking mask.
Well, but Keanu, it didn't happen till after Halloween anyway. So,
but you didn't think it would be relevant again?
It would have been. I should have kept it. Like
I will say, even though that this is all a tragedy, the memes. Like they remain unfucking defeated. Truly, like
Peanut is in the arms of Harambe now.
Yes, and so is Fred, and then they've got they're eating. Do you guys remember the liberal who thought when he mixed that track, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, and then all those
eating
meat.
the dogs.
And he's like, "Do you guys not get that I hate this guy?" And we were like, "No, ours now. Like this is fire. Thanks for the song." Somebody took that song. I got to try and find it, but somebody took that song and they added like Peanut and Fred to it.
Yes.
And stuff like that. Yes.
If this was a week ago, this would be the biggest Halloween costume.
I know.
I know.
Like not at the right time. Like
instead, it was the trash bag Trump supporter. That was another easy costume. Candice, yeah, you missed our whole chat about. I want to hear your take on Peanut and Fred, their untimely demise.
Poor Thank you for saying Fred. No one talks about Fred enough.
That is true. Everyone is really focused on Peanut. Peanut really stole the hearts of the American people.
He had the social media following.
I mean, I know a little bit about it. I mean, the thing that I just see is just a massive overreach. If you create departments and you create jobs and there's not anything for them to do, we're really good at growing industries, growing institutions, agencies, and creating jobs. We're really bad at scaling down. So once you have these jobs created, you have to find a use for these people because no one likes wasting money outright. So we want to feel like it's going to good use. So what happens is you have these morons that are now, I guess they have nothing better to do but go raid someone's apartment and go interrogate them for 5 hours and then go kill their pet squirrel. So this is what happens when anything gets too big. And there's these memes that are going around. It's like, how about we have a government that is small enough to where this isn't even a possibility. We don't even have the resources to allocate 5 fucking hours to go euthanize a squirrel. This is insane. It's absolutely insane.
Wild, yeah. It's not good.
It's not good. But I mean, I think that Peanut just won the election. So his life was not lost for nothing.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Not.
Right. It'd be interesting if this Peanut thing happened in a red state. There probably wouldn't be as much of an outcry.
Was it in New York?
Yeah, it was in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, his farm is like upstate.
Yeah. Is it like it looked like and I think the man also started like he saved other animals' lives. Yeah. I like started a foundation from all of the money from the TikTok fame of the squirrel and you know, so it's just really bizarre that happened. Is it insane that we're so focused on this? I think a little, but we can't help ourselves. America loves a story.
We love a human interest.
I don't think it's insane at all because if you're a citizen and you have the government that thinks that they have the right to come into your private property and kill your pet, that
maybe it's not insane. It's not insane. It just puts it in a way that like makes political laymen's like me go, okay, this is what's happening with government overreach. Yes.
That's the point, though. It's super relatable. So I think politics, one of the reasons you're not voting, right? It's I don't want to be invested in this. I don't feel like it's bullshit. I don't want to be involved, whatever. If you can show that this directly affects normal, everyday people, like one day you could wake up and someone's going to come to your house. You're not going to be able to defend yourself or your personal property. Right. Yeah. And they're just going to shoot your German Shepherd in the face. Like, absolutely not. Is this North Korea? What is happening?
You're right. No. And imagine how horrifying that was. Although I do live with a cat that is the devil. So I maybe I wouldn't mind.
They made this guy wait. They made this guy wait outside for 5 hours. He needed a police escort to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
They ransacked his house.
It's not
good. Just brutal.
It broke his toilet. Broke his.
Yeah, it's a good picture of what's going on. That's why I don't like government in anything in life. Really. No. Yeah. I'm very live and let live. You want to have a squirrel and a raccoon in your house? You go ahead. As long as you're not hurting anybody. That my problem with politics is there's no curated Kiki list of like this is what I would like for my life. So I don't really that's why that's why
you don't feel like any of the issues like apply to you.
No, I think they all apply to all of us, but I try not to worry about it because if you vote for one, then you're voting for something else that doesn't necessarily fit your life or your, so I'd rather just don't say it did. And then if it does come down to one vote, I hope that it's me. And then I hope everybody brings me gifts.
Love you guys. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the comments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. All right. Love you guys. God, I don't even want to leave. This candle smells so good. I don't want to leave. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Love you all. Join the Discord. Feet. Love you all. Wow. You guys are awesome. Come and get it. Bye, guys. Bye. Now I'm really leaving. Love you. Bye.